It almost seems obligatory, like when a long lost relative passes away or something like that, and you need to say something nice at their wake. It's just, we need to check in on Marvel because, holy Christ, nobody is talking about this franchise at all whatsoever. There is no pulse on anything, and like the Fantastic Four, it at least, okay, it has a little bit more of a digital release schedule than Superman has. The Fantastic Four will release on digital on September 23rd. That is so much better than 31 days after it hits the theaters. Hey guys, in order to get set for my next shit TV series that nobody's gonna watch, that's why we're putting it out there. Not that it's, just kind of clogging up theaters. No, it totally makes sense. Trust me, I'm a truth teller. My name's James Gunn. But no, this is a proper, 3 months after it hits theaters. That totally makes sense. And then, like a month or two after that, it'll hit on Disney Plus in time for the holidays. Like, that totally makes sense. And if this film was actually successful, memorable, or turned a profit, that would be one thing. But it really isn't, okay? And it has already been forgotten. Might get a little bit of a boost now that people have proper HD visuals. It's kind of like the same thing that happened with the Thunderbolts. Then people started to go through all of those action scenes and went, ooh, shit, that didn't look that... I didn't think it looked that bad in theaters. What happened? Why does this look like telenovela slop? Like, what happened? Why? I thought Marvel used to be good. What happened? I said that we're still back. This is peak fire. I just wonder how a lot of the special effects for the Fantastic Four are going to hold up, and especially the fucking flumpy female Silver Surfer. I bet you that'll look just pristine in 4K. Time will tell. Time will tell. We're still a couple of days away, okay? You sadists out there, I guess you probably already have your weekend all planned up if you want to, cut clips out of that, because that's going to be the most exciting thing regarding Marvel that's going to happen. But isn't the stupid zombies thing coming out? God, that's already, like, the trailer came out and oh my god, this is peak fire, and nobody's excited for that moving forward. And then you got Wonder Man in December, and then the next thing that's coming out, which just, I mean, this right here is just such fucking high comedy. I don't even know where to begin. Avengers Doomsday is reportedly expected to wrap up filming this week, so it has apparently wrapped up, or it's gonna wrap up here in the next couple of days. But yeah, okay, considering that it has a release date, at least right now, earmarked for December of next year, you're telling me there's at least 14 months scheduled for post-production, for VFX shots, probably compositing all of those people that were acting in big green rooms, but then also allocating time for reshoots. Like, I still don't think, okay, December is gonna be likely. And if you already know that Doomsday and Secret Wars, like, you are set in stone with that plan, why don't you just film them back to back, and once you're done with your principal photography, then you can go ahead and start to properly hand out release dates. But no, I guess Disney is literally trying to spend the most money possible on a film project, because that's what they're doing right here. You want to wrap up principal photography when your actors that are coming forward saying, I don't even know if I'm done yet. I don't know who I'm in scenes with. I don't know who I was supposed to be acting opposite of because I just read all of my lines in a green room. They gave me code names. Like, this is just going to be such a patchwork disaster that I don't even know where to begin. And that's not just myself and a lot of other people in the commentary sphere. That's just not their conclusion when it comes to this. It's also from the actors and the professionals themselves, in so much as we can call actors professionals. But I alluded to this earlier this week, okay? There was a Variety article ranking the health of all of the major franchises that are out there, and it's an abhorrent article, but we already went through, some of the methodology behind it. A lot of it is flawed, but the way that they assess the MCU, I mean, like, this is a special case of stupidity, because here they are saying, and accurately so, that the box office for 2025 from Marvel, yeah, it was down 1000% because the Thunderbolts flopped, Fantastic Four flopped, and yes, if you can recall all the way back to February, Captain Black Falcon America Man did come out then, and it flopped quite a bit. But the return on budget, I mean, okay, how do you acknowledge that the box office is down and then you have a neutral return on budget? This shit is so retarded, but just read this a little blurb that they have right here. Okay, once the undisputed champ, Marvel released 3 films this year that all dramatically underperformed compared to their predecessors and barely eked out a profit. No, they didn't. None of them did. All of them admit to having a $200 million budget. When we eventually get those UK tax returns on Thunderbolts and Fantastic Four, we're going to see that it's probably closer to 4 than 300 million. And then, of course, that's not factoring in marketing budgets as well, but Fantastic Four barely getting over $510 million, and Thunderbolts making, what was that, 360? And you even admit that Captain Black Falcon America Man at your nebulous $200 million budget ended up flopping when it made 420? Just stop. The early 2020s rush to feed streaming shows to Disney Plus also earns Marvel the highest market saturation scores of the group. Joining the MCU is still a crazy, life-changing opportunity, says one top agent. This is the important quote. But I don't have as many clients asking to do one as they were 5 years ago. So even the actors, even the talent in Hollywood are like, yeah, I guess if the price is right and I'm playing a cool enough character, but yeah, we kind of know that it's a dying franchise, and not exactly too many people are champing at the bit, because even Forbes, right, because we've been deriding the mass media for quite a while, well, for years at this point, but specifically honing in over the past couple of weeks that the media, well, they're just peddlers of lies and deceit, but it really does come to fruition when it comes to assessing the health of entertainment brands. And well, now you have Forbes turning on Marvel. Disney lost $619 million in takings on each Marvel movie over the past 2 years. I would imagine that would have to be $619 million in totality over its earnings in the past couple of years, but that's also saying something, given that the second biggest movie of 2024 was Deadpool and Wolverine with $1.3 billion. You still managed to lose over 4 offerings, $619 million. Variety, how does that assessment that your return on budget is accurate, even if you want to lump in the TV shows, which, yeah, just further highlights you being a clown show of an outlet. But it is no secret that Disney Marvel's studio division doesn't seem to have the same punching power at the box office it once used to. Over the 5 years, up to 27 of the superhero movies grossed more than $1 billion, giving the franchise some of the highest average takings in the industry. However, in the 5 years since 2020, only Deadpool and Wolverine, Spider-Man No Way Home have joined the $1 billion club. And yeah, there were a couple that got close. Multiverse of Madness made over $900 million. Thor Love and Thunder was no small chunk of change. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 made $850, I think it ended up sneaking out when it was all said and done. But Forbes and Variety, Hollywood Reporter, Deadline, all of these access media rags, they were all touting the overwhelming success of phases 4 and 5 of Marvel. But why are you now coming to this conclusion? Interesting. Nearly 20 years ago, Marvel movies became smash hits with adults thanks to their serious treatment of the beloved superhero stories that they grew up with. And then he decided to get wacky and a lot more feminist, and then shit started to suck, right? But this is a fairly long article, so I'm just jumping ahead a little bit. So yeah, in a Variety interview with Kevin Feige, he was touting, oh my god, I'm especially excited about Marvel's latest movie, The Fantastic Four, because of how it reflects the company's goal of making projects that don't intimidate casual fans. Well, it didn't work out that well. It's no homework required movie. It literally is not connected to anything we've made before. And yet it's the last thing that you guys do before your big and most interconnected movie that you've ever done. Interesting. Nevertheless, it didn't stop the movie from failing to pack as much of a punch at the box office as its predecessor. It just creeped over $510 million right now, but 507.8 at the time that this article was written, and the tally the tally for the Thunderbolts is well below the recent average. In itself, it is 50% down from Phase 3 peak. Oh, Marvel, you guys lost 50% of your audience from your most important and the film that Kevin Feige was most excited about. Half of your audience from when you guys were at your peak. Oopsie daisy. But Disney, like all movie studios, only gets a share of the movie theater takings. Wow, Forbes, you're just telling all the secrets, aren't you? Which is typically around 50%, yes, domestically, and is known in the trade as a rental fee. However, the studio goes to great lengths to promote its box office haul, so the dramatic loss of average takings on one of the flagship franchises is far from a dream ticket, paging Superman and DC and James Gunn. However, perhaps the biggest problem is the fact that the Thunderbolts and the Fantastic Four led directly into next year's Avengers Doomsday, which is likely to be one of Marvel's most expensive movies. Well, it's just going to be one of the most expensive movies ever, full stop. Due to its ensemble cast, of just ever-growing personalities, which reads like a roll call for the Oscars and is headlined by the return of Robert Downey Jr. and his $100 million paycheck, which, God, I would imagine there's going to be some funny accounting when it comes to the overall budget of Doomsday, because, we brought on Robert Downey Jr. and his paycheck isn't going to be factored into the budget of this movie because that was for multiple movies, so it wouldn't be fair to attach that. But the other 30 plus high profile actors or returning characters that you had from previous films, from Chris Hemsworth all the way down to Simu Liu, do you think that they're going to come in cheap? Some of them will. Simu Liu is probably not doing all that much outside for trying to play the victim on fucking Canadian Shark Tank, getting really fucking butthurt about somebody making boba tea. But Chris Hemsworth, He's literally got other shit to do, so he probably didn't come in on the cheap. Paul Rudd, he might be a reliable foot soldier, but do you really think his name recognition and pedigree is going to be that insignificant? And what about your real legacy actors, your Hugh Jackmans of the world, which hasn't been confirmed, but come on, man, if they have an opportunity to bring in Wolverine, you know they're going to take it. And then, of course, Sir Ian McKellen and Sir Patrick Stewart, do you think, even though they're basically on death's door, do you think they're going to come in for pennies on the dollar? I don't fucking think so. It is an attempt to recapture Endgame success. Yes, just a pathetic, measly, anemic attempt to recapture Endgame success. Doomsday features, yes, even more A-listers and is being billed as the end to the current version of the MCU, with Feige telling Variety that a reset will debut in Avengers Secret Wars, theoretically in 2027. But I don't think that's going to happen then. Kind of like I don't think that this feeble attempt to recapture the public zeitgeist is going to pan out at all whatsoever. You can see the numbers right there, and in the words of a great man, the numbers don't lie, and they spell disaster for you. So with all that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.